I think it's a decent squad. They've been playing together for a long time. And the fact that the whole squad of around 30-32 trains together, so any of the 18 or 20 that are selected doesn't really make much of a difference. There is enough experience in this side. I would have loved if, because the Asian Games have been postponed, which kind of messed up their whole India A squad and the preparations and everything. I would have loved if they could have brought in maybe at least one or two from that team, especially among those who kind of retired and then came back, the senior guys who were there at Tokyo. But other than that, this is a decent squad with enough experience and youth and everything. So we can expect them to go pretty far, which would be semi-finals at the least, because of the whole format that they have. But yes, one or two from that India A squad, the senior guys, could have been included if they wanted. But I don't know how the training was happening there, whether they were training with these guys, whether they were training separately, and what the fitness levels for those guys was, because they're coming back from kind of retirement after Tokyo. So those are things that we're not very sure of. Other than that, I don't see any problems with this squad. There are 10 teams in two pools of each, five each, and India has England, Canada, Wales, and Ghana with them in Pool B. So you expect them to at least reach the semi-finals as the top two teams. But then again, there's Canada, which can always be a slippery slope, because Canada has kind of been the bugbear for India. But other than that, yes, we do expect them to reach the semi-finals. The other challenges will remain the same. From the other side, there'll be Australia, there'll be New Zealand, there'll be Pakistan. So either of the two teams that come over will be a problem for India. As far as the track record is concerned, we have done decently well, but then again, given the fact that Australia has been there in the fray ever since hockey started in CWG, they have been the biggest hurdle for us. In 2010 and 2014, we lost to them, both in the group stages and in the finals. And last year in Gold Coast 2018, we could not make the finals. We lost in the semi-finals. So that is something that the team would be looking at to change. But then again, once they reach the finals, which again is a big if, because we do not know how New Zealand's been playing, we do not know what Pakistan might do with a new coach and a new setup and everything. But assuming we reach the semi-finals, then it will be a 50-50 chance, because despite the fact that we won the bronze and despite the fact that on their day this team can beat any other team, we need to understand that at some level this team does carry the baggage, if I may say, of not defeating Australia ever. See, after Tokyo, what they've done is play the Pro League, and that was a big plus, because they played against all the top teams and they could get that match fitness and match practice, and they've done decently well against all the top teams. Even though the Pro League was more of a preparatory tournament for almost every other team, because obviously for the Asian teams it was supposed to be about the Asian Games, and then the Oceania teams, and then there's a big World Cup that's coming on next year in January. So for most of the teams from Tokyo to World Cup, the Pro League was more of a preparatory tournament. So they were all testing their squads, about the 30-40 odd squads, and keep changing their players. But in terms of getting top level practice, I think it was the best way to go about it. They did play the Asia Cup, but that was mainly a junior team that went out there, and it did give India a chance to look at the bench strength. Quite a few players from that squad have been included, at least 2 or 3 in this team. But again, the Pro League was a big thing for these guys, especially the younger ones, because coming from Tokyo, they did need that match practice. They couldn't have gone to CWG straight away. And after Tokyo, the whole Asia Cup thing, and then the Pro League, when you play against teams like Belgium and Holland back to back, then even if you lose the games, you learn something. And that's what the whole process has been about, learning from every match that they play, trying to work on the Kings. The whole Pro League was, as a whole, in terms of the tournament, a preparatory event that stretched for about 5 odd months. So I think that's the best thing they could have done, given the fact that there was nothing else happening in the world. That's a tough one because in a team game, it's always tough to point out one strength or something. The weakness, I'll still say the whole keeping it subconsciously away, the fact that the last 10 seconds or 20 seconds mean the match is over. We thought that that thing had been taken care of quite a few years back, but then we saw that happening again in Gold Coast, and we saw that happening in the Asian Games in 2018. That did not happen in Tokyo. So it could be seen either way. It could be a strength that they have learned from those mistakes. It could be a weakness because subconsciously, when you get into that zone, especially against a weaker team, and weaker, when I say weaker, I do not mean a team that's weaker in terms of rankings, but there's always this subconscious feeling in the team that a team that we've beaten once is a weaker team, which does not, it doesn't really happen that way in international sports, that a team that you've beaten once before or twice before or 10 times before cannot come back and beat you. So it's always there subconsciously at the back of the players' minds. I'm sure they've done a lot of work on that. The coaches have grilled it into them that they cannot take any team lightly, but I think they still need to take care of those last 10, 20, 30 seconds, because an error in that, because, and this is something that I spoke to Manpreet also, that even if you draw a match and a tournament like this, a draw can always come back to haunt you, because it can decide the opponent in the semi-final for you, a draw. But that's the thing that they need to take care of, and they need to make sure that they do not make any stupid errors up front. They need to make sure that the chances that they do get, and they won't get too many except against a team maybe like Ghana, but against something like Canada, they need to be careful. They need to be cautious. Against a team like England, which may not be ranked above them, but they still need to be cautious because England will be the home favorites. And that's the one thing that they really need to worry about and take care of, and not get drawn away by the fact that they have won an Olympic medal, so they are a better team. That's one thing they need to be cautious of. In terms of strengths, I think the biggest advantage is the fact that they go into the tournament as a much more seriously taken team. And even though Australia remains a bugbear, I think the other teams will be cautious, and that should be something that the Indian team needs to take advantage of and go out there and get those goals early on, so that they can put the pressure, because it will be difficult for the other team to come back once India has the dominance. And we've seen in the last few years that once India has the upper hand, it's very difficult for other teams, even the best teams, to come back. That is something that they can do with the fact that most of our youngsters are in the forward line. They have the energy and the skills and the sharpness and the smartness to take advantage of those poaching chances. Once they do that, I think it will be much easier for India to continue with dominance in the tournament. I won't say trump card, because like I said, when you play as a team, and this team believes in the fact that your offense starts from the back line and your defense starts from the forward line. So there's not one player, but then again, like we see, when it comes to goal stopping, then at the end of the day, the goalkeeper does become the most important. And as the senior most player in the side, as someone with the maximum experience in terms of age and the matches played, and given the fact that he was crucial to India winning that bronze medal in Tokyo, I would put Srijesh as not the trump card, but the most important player that India might have on that day on the field.